After many days of anticipation, the long-awaited Cairo talks on a Gaza ceasefire never materialized and no deal was ever concluded. The Hamas leadership refused to be bullied and pulled the delegation out of Cairo, having come to the conclusion that Netanyahu was only playing for time. Meanwhile, the intensification of Israel's assaults on Rafah and the promise of an imminent ground invasion in this southernmost part of Gaza point to a deep frustration on the part of Israeli leaders. In addition, Netanyahu's onslaught and continuing threats meant he had no intention of doing business with Hamas. Hamas took nearly a week to respond to a previous proposal for a ceasefire and hostage exchange. When it eventually made a counteroffer, which called for a three-stage ceasefire and exchange of Israeli and Palestinian captives, ultimately leading to an end to the war, Israel rejected the proposal. The reason Hamas took so long for this reply centers on the nature of the movement's decision-making processes. Its leadership hierarchy is supposed to represent three constituencies: Gaza, the occupied West Bank, and the diaspora. Communication among these three leadership structures on highly sensitive issues can be very lengthy and complicated. Amid the ongoing devastation of Gaza, the Israelis and their US and European allies perhaps thought that the Paris Framework Agreement proposal for a temporary halt in the war would immediately be welcomed by Hamas. However, the movement's counter-proposal suggests that the movement's military wing is still in good shape. It also suggests that despite all the pain and suffering, the population of Gaza does not see that the Israeli-US proposal to be a genuine opportunity for the resumption of a normal life inside the territory, but rather a brief respite before the gates of hell reopen again. Based on the experience of the past 17 years, the Gaza leadership of Hamas would not take a decision on a matter like this without first gauging the mood of the population, which is not an easy thing to do under the current circumstances. As I seek to show in my book, Hamas Unwritten Chapters, this approach to decision-making has contributed to the movement's continued popularity since it won the 2006 Palestinian Legislative Council elections. And this is why Israel and its collaborators within the Palestinian Authority in Ramallah have been unable to drive a lasting wedge between Hamas and the people of Gaza. Hamas' counter-proposal envisioned a three-stage ceasefire, with each phase lasting 45 days, enabling the gradual exchange of captives. The eventual objective would be to end the war and siege, allow relief and reconstruction, and guarantee the people's right to return to their homes and move freely across Gaza. The exchange over three phases is meant to test Israel's commitment to implementing the deal, while ensuring that steps taken in one phase are not reversed soon afterwards. Palestinians have grown accustomed to Israel's habit of reneging on its promises. The Hamas counter-proposal suggests a confident position, which is bound to heighten Netanyahu's anxiety and increase his desperation. Pressure is building on him from various sides, especially among the families of the hostages and their growing camp of supporters inside Israel itself. Hamas will not likely settle for much less than what it has offered. Any attempt by Netanyahu to penalize the population of Gaza for rejecting his offer will likely backfire. His threat to invade Rafah, where some 1.4 million people are crammed after Israeli military machine forced them out of their homes, is simply further proof of his desperation.